Hello scientists, this week we're doing modeling kinetic energy and temperature is our focus. So it's going to start off with temperature, so you know that we use thermometers to measure temperature, but how do you think that thermometer is actually working on the inside of the thermometer? We use words like warm, cold, and hot. Those are good for describing things. Like this week it is probably, I would say, warm to hot. But what's the meaning of temperature behind that? So how do you get more precise with what you're saying? And that's what we're looking at here in this activity. So scientists use the word Celsius to measure temperature on a scale. Typically in the United States we're using the word Fahrenheit, so it's a different scale. So there's two kind of scales. If you look at this, one of the reasons that we use our scales is that it helps us to compare results with each other. Doesn't matter what country we're in, but that way we know we're speaking exactly about a certain temperature. So that's why we use the degrees. And in science we typically use this side, the Celsius. Why? Because the math is actually a lot easier for us, and it's based on certain scientific principles. So water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, that's pretty easy to remember. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, that's pretty easy to remember. There's a lot more things like that work out, they tend to work out that way. But what are we used to? We're used to a Fahrenheit scale where water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, below that it's freezing, right? So that's the point where it starts freezing, and then below that it's frozen. Okay, so that's the freezing temperature, 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Water boils 212 Fahrenheit. Like when you put it on the stove, if it gets up to 212, that's where it's boiling, and 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, there are some variations based on pressure and altitude, but that's generally right at sea level. That's where those things are going to happen at. Okay, the world record high and low on Earth. We just did our atmosphere project. So what's our record low at the Earth's surface in the troposphere? In Antarctica, it was -95 degrees Celsius. Which in Fahrenheit, which we're used to, is -136 degrees. In Death Valley, that's California, we have the world record highest temperature, 57 degrees Celsius, which translates over into Fahrenheit. That would be 134 degrees Fahrenheit, very hot. Looking at how particles move in something that's cold versus hot, the particles that make up that thing, like for example snow, is just water, right? It's frozen water. It's the parts of water, H2O, are moving very slowly. And in a water vapor, right, in the clouds and in that moisture we feel in the air, now they're moving faster. So the more heat something has, the faster it moves, the more energy it has. It's the energy that makes it move, okay? And we measure that as heat or temperature. So if we looked at a section of air in Antarctica, because they're moving slower, right? That means that there's probably more particles, more bits and pieces of air that are able to fit in that same volume, in that same space, because they're moving slower. But when it's hot out, now they're moving fast and they spread out more, so there's less particles in that same volume. Okay, so that's what we call density, how much fits in a certain volume, certain space. So when we can get more to fit, like this cold air, it moves slower, we get more to fit, it's more dense. Okay, so that would be more dense, and this would be less dense. So hotter air, usually less dense, colder air, more dense. Okay, thinking about those particles, we think about them kind of like pool balls. So if it's near absolute zero, where we can get the coldest theoretically possible, things would stop moving. We haven't achieved that yet. So we have little vibrational motions inside of things that we've measured. But as things get hotter and hotter, it's like those pool balls are moving all over the place. Okay, that motion energy is called kinetic energy. So kinetic energy of the other balls increase because they start moving once they're hit by this pool ball, the cue ball, the white one. Okay. So in the wrap up on the slides here, it says how did the model simulate motion of particles? Okay, that's the pool table, and it said that solid molecules stay huddled together. So when the pool balls are together, they're like a solid. Once they start moving, they're more like a liquid. If they were to go all over the place, they would be more like a gas. And what's going on with kinetic energy of a warm object compared to a cold? Warm objects have more kinetic energy. So more energy is warmer or hotter. And for this week, we're getting that energy from the sun. Okay, So we're going to switch over here and take a look at this. Here's our thermometer. Remember, these are a mathematical formula. You can switch and convert between these things. Our phones do all that for us now, so does the computer. But remember that your key points there are 0 degrees Celsius is where it freezes at 32 Fahrenheit. And boiling is 100 degrees Celsius and 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Typically, body temperature around 37, right, 98.6. And typically, like classroom, like if you're to think about like every day, like this week, it's about in the upper 80s, so we're around 31 degrees or so this week. But you can always click on the Weather Channel and it'll switch between temperatures for you. You just select which one you want. So if you go to look at the 10-day forecast, there we go. Okay, if we look at the 10-day forecast here, it's all in Fahrenheit. That's what we're used to. But you could switch that over to Celsius. Not sure exactly where they have it on this website. I think it's in your settings. But this is what we're looking at. So we are in the upper 80s at the beginning of this week. That's important. I'm going over this because we're going to be making our solar ovens this week, and then it starts cooling down. So your best days for solar oven are going to be around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday's not too bad, but it's a little bit cloudy. Okay, so let's look at Tuesday. If we go to Tuesday, or we'll just click today here. If we go to today, notice that in the afternoons when it's the hottest. Okay, so that's the best time to do your solar oven. And think about that, because if we think about how the sun goes around the earth, right? If we have this pizza box that we build the solar oven with, you're going to have more direct rays onto it when there's no shadow really, right? So when it's straight up and down, you get more energy going into that, and it's going to heat up and cook your whatever it is better, or melt your crayon or whatever you're doing. Okay, so thinking about what style thing you want to build, think about the time of day that you want to do it too, because it'll take less time if you're in this upper zone here. Okay, so if I move this over, here we go. This is set up for Los Angeles right now, and November 9th, we're off a little bit. Let's go back here. October. Okay, so we're in October, and this angle does change a little bit, right? It's more up and down in the summer. It kind of works its way to the sides, lower in the winter. All right, so think about what time you're doing it, and think about what you're going to melt, or if you want to try and cook or warm something up, think about what time that's going to work out for you, okay? All right, let's take a look at some of those other ideas that go with that. If we heat something up, thinking about the particles heating up, they want to move more. They're getting more kinetic energy. You see them have more motion, right? Look at, you got Celsius temperature up top. It's increasing, 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 and we could cool it down. And guess what's going to happen to our particles? Yeah, you see them starting to slow and settle back down. Okay, so when you're cooking food, you're introducing more energy into it. Okay, so think about how the sunlight comes in. Those are called photons, and they're going to hit the ground. They're going to produce infrared radiation, so they're going to produce heat, for lack of a better word. And the more you can get trapped into your object, so when you build your box, you want to add a layer into it. So you got all these rays coming in. If we add a layer, let's see, where did my layer go to? But if we add a layer across here, like a saran wrap or a plastic sheet or a glass, something like that, then it'll help these bounce back down and keep them trapped in, so that it cooks it a little better. Okay, so all this is focused on cooking your object, or melting your object like a crayon. All right, so think about it one more time. If we've got, start with a solid crayon, and we're going to melt it to liquid, right? So imagine that this ice is your crayon. We're going to melt it. So go ahead and hit play here. We've got our particles. They're kind of solid. They're locked in place. They vibrate a little bit in place, and then once it starts melting, now they're able to relax and flow. Okay, it doesn't flow as good as water, but it still does, because it's becoming liquid and it melts. All right, so that's what you're trying to achieve if you're doing the crayon or you're melting chocolate. And again, that surface area, this is how light bounces in a diamond. That saran wrap or plastic or cover, whatever you choose to have for a cover, is going to help that light bounce around inside of that object, so that
anything around the house you can
it
find,
can trap the heat in.
with that greenhouse effect. Okay. So you want a closed system of some kind. Dark is going to absorb
absorb the heat better at the base. Some reflective stuff will help. But you know, this is backpacking mode. So whatever you can use. Is it a box? Is it a 2-liter bottle that you're gonna cut? Maybe. Make sure you get your parents' help if you're using sharp objects. And you can open it up, right? And you can close it, tape it closed, put it in the sun on a dark surface like asphalt or black paper or something. Maybe all you have is like some cooking jars or Pyrex dishes or something, and stuff from out of your folder that you can use to trap the heat in, okay? And so you're going to probably want to cook something like chocolate and cookies on top of, like chocolate on top of cookies or a graham cracker. You can try marshmallows. It's probably not quite that hot this week for that. But if you're going to do this box, this is the one you see all over the internet where they cut it. And then just think backpacking mode, guys. We're not trying to make an art project here. We're just showing how simple it can be if you're in a pinch and you need to cook something. Okay, so we put our foil in there while my dog chases her bone around. Put your foil in there. You need somewhere, greenhouse effect, right? So you need to trap that in. You're going to probably want to tape this down. And if you can even get that good and sealed up with tape, but then wrap some something reflective. So we got, you know, maybe something to reflect some light. So you got the sun coming in like this, hitting this, going in there. It's holding the heat in. If you want to put some like newspaper or paper towels or something around the edges to hold the heat in, that's great. That's fantastic. Close this all up. Try and get it closed. Greenhouse effect is like when you get in your car in the summer, you know, and the doors have been closed and it's in the sun. If the doors or windows are open, it doesn't get as hot. So you want to get it sealed up, right? That's greenhouse effect. Okay, something like this maybe. Remember, nice dark surface is better if you can use black, like asphalt or black paper. This one's sealed up. Here's another idea. Be very careful. Get your parents' help if you're doing something like this. But you can even use, you know, a simple tin can. Throw it in a bag. Be creative, guys. I'm not looking for a beautiful masterpiece. I'm looking for creativity. And I look forward to seeing what you guys are cooking. Like, I'm not sure. That's more like a piece of chocolate and graham crackers. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. I look forward to seeing you guys work.